Should I throw the penguin over there?
Why do you have
Quote, "It takes a while for kids to gain proficiency. You can watch teenagers queuing up to buy a movie ticket and they banter with one another. They say horrible things to one, but they are all laughing and it's all fun." End quote. This was by Dr. Aaron Heery. According to Merriam-Webster.com, copyrighted in 2015, a nickname is a usually descriptive name given of or in addition to the one belonging to a person, place, or thing. Nicknames have a profound effect on humans and our interactions with one another. To better understand its effect, I will tell you about the origin of nicknames, why we have nicknames, and the psychological effect nicknames have on us. Nicknames have been around forever and are used quite frequently. Nicknames have had a long history. They were first used by the ancient Greeks and Romans. Anglo-Saxons also started using nicknames because they did not have surnames. According to dictionary.reference.com, copyrighted in 2015, originally nicknames were called eek-names. Eek meant also in addition to. When written out, people would write an eek-name. Somehow the N from an was moved in front of eek-name. And this happened in 1674 and it created the word nickname that we use today. A lot of people have adopted nicknames. Men tend to give and keep their nicknames even into adulthood. According to utsandiego.com, last updated on October 16, 2005, for men, inventing nicknames provides a way of being affectionate without comprising their masculinity. Often, nicknames reveal as much about the namer as the named. Sports players also have nicknames. A talented boxer, Oscar de la Hoya, was known as the Golden Boy. A Chicago Bear player weighed more than 300 pounds and was referred to as the Refrigerator. Musicians have taken up the ideas of nicknames too. Jazz musicians like the flashy stage names, such as Duke Ellington and Count Basie. Rappers take unusual names, such as Grandmaster Flash, LL Cool J, and 50 Cent. It's important that we understand nicknames, but what's really interesting is why we have them. Do you ever wonder why we give each other nicknames? The main reason we do it is to show familiarity. As MercuryNews.com, last updated on September 23, 2012, said, pet names or diminutive names have a way of clinging. They often become part of one's identity, a lifelong term of endearment or a reminder of youth and innocence. A lot of times there is a little bit of possession in giving someone a nickname. It claims a right to someone's identity when you name them, even if it is just a nickname. You can also feel a sense of pride when you nickname someone. It makes you feel as though you have authority. When asked why we call each other by nicknames, Syed Lynch said, quote, "As humans, we are programmed to respond to affection and kindness, just like a family pet. One way to connect with someone is to create a pet name or nickname for them. A name says, I know this person," end quote. Nicknames can help you in areas of life. According to BusinessInsider.com, last updated on November 27, 2013, from an analysis of nearly 6 million names, a study found that every extra letter in a person's name tended to correlate with a $3,600 drop in their annual salary. By this logic, a person in a career for 40 years will lose close to $150,000. Nicknames can be part of your professional brand. It is a rule of thumb that your nickname has to be a shorter version of your actual name. You need to be able to own your nickname and be proud and professional with it. Nicknames occur when people spend a lot of time with each other. Nicknames can build a sense of togetherness among coworkers. They can also feel a sense of ease in the workplace. This will help workers handle colleagues who are hard to work with. As psychologistmimi.com, last updated on March 2, 2013, said, President George Bush had a nickname for Putin, which was Pootie Poot. This was meant to diminish the threat he posed to the United States. We all have nicknames, whether we like them or not. They may come from a relative, a friend, or a significant other. Regardless of the situation, they make us who we are today. The psychological effect that nicknames have on us can be both good and bad. In children, nicknames can improve their social skills and help them develop a sense of humor. According to gemslearninggateway.com, copyrighted in 2011, Dr. Heery's view is that teasing and nicknames are an essential part of life and should not be automatically confused with bullying. Dr. Hury researched nicknames in a fraternity. The older children mocked the newcomers with embarrassing names about things like drunkenness or other failures. This helped the newcomers change their behavior and improved group bonding. Dr. Hury revisited the university 2 years later. She found that students who had been made fun of with rude nicknames were in high leadership positions. She also found that those students were passing down the social norms that they had been taught. Dr. Hury says, quote, "Giving nicknames is absolutely essential in building teams. In my workplace, people engage in these teasings, banterings, off-record comments all the time. It allows people to get along and build better relationships with one another." In adults, nicknames with their childhood can be detrimental to their professions. When someone feels a need to leave the nickname, men are more likely to make the switch before women are. Getting people to stop calling you by your name can be hard. You need to remind them constantly and realize that old habits are hard to break. Going into a new grade, job, or another milestone is a great time to change the name you go by. In this speech, I have informed you about our interpersonal communication through nicknames. I touched on the topics of the origin of nicknames, why we give each other nicknames, and the psychological effect that nicknames have on us. Whether you're completely embarrassed or love your nickname, it's who you are. You wouldn't be the same without it. It's what makes you you, and that's the most important person you can be.